Welcome back to the CBIA BizCast powered by Google. I'm Amanda Marlowe. This week, we have a very special episode for you. Over the course of the last year, we've been able to sit down with some remarkable leaders. They've shared their stories of innovation, entrepreneurship, and resilience. Today, we're going to break down some of those words of wisdom and share them with you. Take a listen. Today, I am here with Marietta Lee, President and CEO of the Lee Company.
What was like a really powerful moment for me was after years of working in our family business in a male-dominated environment and sort of trying to emulate the leadership styles of those that came before me, all men, which I perceived as being sort of strong and stoic, and trying to emulate that. I did that for a long time. And then life got messy and COVID hit and everyone was kind of losing their minds. And I remember one day, an employee, we were trying to keep up and running. We were, critical suppliers. We were making ventilator parts. We were running 3 shifts. We were busier than ever.
You were probably working more than you had.
I was afraid we were going to accidentally give everybody COVID or not wipe down a machine and infect an entire building, or, these were the concerns that we were having. And we were all kind of losing our mind. And somebody said, "How you doing?" And I just lost it. I was like, I am not good. I'm kind of losing my mind. I go home, I cry. And I was like, I just totally let down my guard. I can't believe I just did that. And the woman looked at me and she was like, "Me too." And we had the best conversation. And it sort of dawned on me that I need to be authentic. I need to be me, not to be stoic and strong. There's another kind of leader, which is like an authentic leader, and you're vulnerable and people can relate to that. So for me, that moment was like, okay, I can be myself. I don't have to be somebody else's leader or lead the way somebody else does. I can be myself. And it was refreshing. I felt better. I'm better at being an authentic leader than a stoic leader. So for me, that was an important lesson. And it just sort of happened because things got messy.
Today, I am joined by Dr. Albert Green, the newly announced CEO of QuantumCT. Albert, welcome to the BizCast.
So I sort of leave you with a couple different things. That I've kind of learned over the course of my career. When in doubt, do something, and avoid the paralysis of analysis. You can analyze something to death, but when in doubt, do something. So that's one of the things that I would say. And the second thing I would add is that, particularly in these times where there's there's a lot of division all over the place, and I think an overriding principle that I like to try to move forward with is, in a discussion, a dialogue, in business, whatever, is always look for common ground and start with that element of common ground. And once you can build that small overlap area, you can build out from there.
Today, we are again on location. We are at 1 State Street inside the new Foundry restaurant here up on the 20th floor. So you can see the kitchen behind us, but we're looking out at a beautiful view of Hartford. And I am joined by Hartford Steam Boiler President and CEO, Greg Barats. Greg, welcome.
I think as a leader, you have to understand that you set the tone, you set the pace, and you set the attitude. That's upon you. Right? And people pay attention to it. You may not think that people, are being astute to it or not, but they are. So it's very important that you do that. I think it's also extremely important that, you treat people as adults. I think often, they try to water down the message or, listen, they're adults, tell them straight up, talk to them straight about what's going on and what needs to be very transparent. People appreciate an honest, direct answer. Then, okay, I think I kind of know what they said. And maybe the last one I'll leave, and it's an interesting one for me because I'll get groups ask all the time this type of question. I think the hardest word for kind of people to sue and use is probably the most powerful, as the word no. right? And it's like, we always want to like, man, maybe we can do that, or yeah, let's talk about that, but it's not right. It's just, use the word no. I've probably saved the company, made the company more money by saying no, but I have said yes. And again, people appreciate a direct, honest answer so they can move on and do something else. But I think, human nature, people kind of avoid that word, and sometimes it's actually the best word to use.
Today, we are joined by Sid Kalita, principal at Mercer. Sid, welcome to the BizCast.
In the financial industry, and actually in the broader world, we keep on talking about we have to have a diverse population, right? We want diversity to go up. We want to hire more diverse candidates. We want to be at like 50% diversity. And if you think about it, like what are the measures that we are taking? Right? Probably we are hiring more diverse people, right? But that's a very short-term goal. Do we have enough people even to apply to those programs, right? If there's not enough people to even come to apply to the program, how can I have a diverse population in my workforce? We have to work on creating that pool, a diverse pool that will be one day ready to apply for those positions. And that's when the diversity will go up. Without that long-term commitment of actually creating that pool, I don't think short-term measures will work. And then, as you would know, we cannot bring our bar down because companies or our clients depend on us to bring in the best of ideas, right? And we need the best of the people. So we cannot lower our bar down. What we could do is bring them up to that bar. And then that takes time, right? So that takes years and years on everyone's side. And this is one way for our company and for us to contribute back to the society to actually create the diverse pool that one day will become the employment pool or employees pool for us.
We are here at the Rebellion Group in Cheshire. We're joined by CEO Bryn Tindall and Senior Vice President of Client Services, Sam Barrett.
I've seen good leaders and I've seen bad, and I've tried to kind of park what the bad ones do and really absorb and take forward what the good ones do. And what I've always tried to do is kind of like think about a couple different things, which is like, not everybody is going to respond the same way to direction and requests or whatever it is you're trying to task people out to do. Like, so having that ability to use a good deal of empathy in order to try to understand like kind of person that you're working with and what is going to motivate them in order to get the best out of them. I think that's what I've tried to do is try to understand and read people and figure out, like, based on how I think your head works, this is the most effective way to engage you, to try and get the best out of you. And it's not a one size fits all piece.
I would say treating everyone fairly, but not necessarily equally. And I know that sounds like, wait, what? But everyone is instructed differently and needs to be, it's like a custom approach to everyone, right? So yes, they're all treated fairly, but where they are and what they're capable of is completely unique to them. So if you try sort of a one size fits all approach to management, it's going to fail. And actually the same thing applies to parenthood. I remember thinking when my first son came through, it was like, normal sort of coaching, teaching, all that kind of stuff. And then the second son came through and I tried the same approach. It's like, oh my God, this just is not getting consumed, and so you have to reconfigure to get the same message across, right? It's not one is wrong or worse. It's that, meeting them where they are and understanding how they're wired and what motivates them in order to get the best out of them. I think that would be a key piece.
Today, we're thrilled to be joined by Lawrence Ward, president of the University of Hartford.
One of the biggest lessons I've learned along the way is that leadership isn't about me. It's about the people that I lead and the communities that I serve. So making myself available, sharing my truth in an authentic and a genuine way, I hope gives others license to discover more of their own truth, to be a beacon of hope and inspiration. I believe that to whom much is given, much is required. And that includes my time and my example and sharing my experience with others, just as others shared with me. So that to me is everything.
We're very happy to be joined by Dean Brenner, the CEO and co-founder of the Latimer Group.
I have a very soft spot in my heart whenever anybody tells me they want to start their own business. And whenever somebody comes to me and says, hey, can you give me some advice?
Yeah.
The answer is always yes. I will spend as much time with them as they need, because it takes a lot of courage to hang out your own shingle. And it takes a lot of courage to hang in there when times get bad. We've been through a lot of peaks and valleys at the Latimer Group over the last 23 years, just like every other company. And you have to have a lot of faith, and you have to have people around you that are going to help you maintain that faith.
Yeah.
And I try to do that for others now, because a lot of people have done it for me.
Today we are joined by Nick Sentementes, Director of Development at Hall Neighborhood House.
The important thing is to really keep an eye on expenses. You really, and transparency. A lot of, you want to have a good reputation. People, especially potential donors, even corporations, they have to have a comfort level before they want to support any organization. So being open and transparent is very important.
Joining us today is Chris Ulbrich, Chair of Ulbrich Stainless Steel and Special Metals. Put yourself in the shoes of that medium small business that you supply so many of Connecticut. We have such a close network of friends here in the state. Amidst this uncertainty that we've talked about, what would be your advice for them as leaders, not just to handle the tariff situation, but how do they run their businesses? And would you recommend in this time of uncertainty?
Well, meet with your team maybe every morning, 3 days a week, and then communicate with everybody. Let everybody knows. They see on the plant floor, maybe the jobs are half what they used to be. What's going on? Communicate. Full communication, I think helps so much.
This week I am joined by Grace Napolitano, Principal and Business Development Executive at the TAC Group.
Creating boundaries within your own mind, I think, is really important, and holding those boundaries. So, for example, a tip that I have is I turn off my phone. I don't turn off my phone. That's a lie. I don't respond. I don't respond unless it's necessary.
Block it out.
I know. It's like, this is not for now. And I even do that with my volunteer things is if I'm at a game, I'm at the game on the weekend. I'm not replying to who's going to be the travel sponsor, where do I send this check? That is not for that time. So I'm not trying to juggle too many things. I'm being present. That is a very, very hard lesson for people to learn, how to be here in the moment. But once you train yourself to be that way, the burnout kind of dissipates and you're more focused during your work hours in the project that you're working on, because this is what I got to do. I have this set of time to do it. I'm not trying to do all the other things.
I'm very, very happy and sad today to be joined by Paul Pescatello, CBIA's Senior Counsel and Executive Director of the Connecticut Bioscience Growth Council. What advice do you have to, young business leaders or young, lobbyists?
I think two things. Again, you have to understand the emotional component of it, that if you're going to win an argument, you have to understand that and address that. And then you have to be relentless. You have to sort of make your argument over and over again, and you can't take it personally when someone doesn't get it the first time around or the 10th time around. And that's really it.
I'm very excited today to be joined by Rohan Freeman, the president and CEO of Freeman Companies.
When we climb in a rope team. So it doesn't matter how strong you are as a leader. What matters is the weakest guy on the rope team. Is you cannot move faster than the weakest guy is capable of moving. Is a few things happen. They're going to collapse, they're going to move too fast, and then they're not going to be able to go. They run out of energy. So many things. So you have to be cognizant of that. You got to move at a pace where everybody could move together. It doesn't mean in business, the business moves at that pace. It means you find a way to make that person feels like they're part of the team. And the reason I say that is because you need everybody to be contributing. And so you have to find that balance for your team.
Today, I am joined by the director of the CBIA Foundation for Economic Growth and Opportunity, Dustin Nord.
Honestly, I always tell people I worked at a summer camp for a long time. I worked as a counselor and I became a director. And I think nothing can teach you humility better than like working with kids and dealing with the issues that they bring to the table. Every time you think you know something, you get surprised by it. And I think that's what I hope to try to bring to what I do is that there are so many perspectives in this world, and assuming that you know the answers ahead of time can lead you astray. And so just trying to, have that humility, be humble when you enter into a problem. When I go into a research question, not assuming the answer before I start, helps open up a much broader world of opportunity. And I think beyond that is just, being open-minded about the kinds of questions and being curious about the world around you. I think there is a lot of, more so than I ever appreciated up until a few years ago when I really started working on state level issues, there's a lot of opportunity to have agency in our community, to be able to put your voice out there, to vote on a topic, to join a local board or commission or whatever that may be. There are a lot of opportunities out there, and a lot of it just comes down to whether or not you want to do it and whether or not you want to be enthusiastic. And if you are, there's so many chances for you to do that.
I'm excited to be here today with a father-son duo who is really taking the architectural and engineering space here in Connecticut and globally, really, by storm. We have Abul Islam and Tariq Islam. Abul is the founder, president, and CEO of AI Engineers, and Tariq, you are the chief of staff. You both have seen a lot. What advice do you have for other leaders maybe who are in the midst of exponential growth and are, struggling to keep their feet moving on the treadmill?
So the advice is that other businesses for our size, mid-size, small size, ought to follow other industries, how they make money, how their financials are, what they are doing, and how you can embrace a little bit of their style of management, aggressive Wall Street companies, technology companies. My focus has been in the last 7 years, technology companies. I've studied them, I follow them, I read Wall Street Barrats regularly, not so much our engineering magazine, which I do also because I'm basically a civil engineer. And those have really transformed me with regard to what can happen to an organization which is very traditional in the very traditional industry. So advice for them is to open up, study other companies, other successful organizations, not necessarily related to one construction and design or civil engineering.
What about for you, Tariq?
To Abul's point, I think being well-read, like you're talking about like leadership. Where do we look for leadership? I mean, for me, part of it is I read a lot of books, on leadership, and like the new organizational management structures are coming out. So like I think you have to be always kind of self-educating yourself. If you really want to be a leader, you have to kind of self-assess yourself. You have to be very critical sometimes of your own like shortcomings, and like be like, how do I get better? And I'm kind of like young in relatively speaking in my career right now, that like you have to be kind of like ruthlessly self-critical if you want to be a better leader. And then you have to instill, like with the next generation of leaders, be curious, because if without I think that's another understated theme, is that like you have to be curious if you want to be a leader, you know what I mean? And you have to be willing to kind of look in the mirror and kind of critically self-assess yourself every couple of years or whatever it is, and be like, tweak your style if you want to grow your organization.
I'm excited today to be joined by two incredible women in the construction industry. We have Jacqueline Laramee, the president of NDC Commercial Construction, and Melissa Sheffy, the Network Interiors president and Network Framing owner.
It's important to note, while you're not being afraid and you're having open conversations, that people may disappoint you, and that's okay. You may have trusted somebody in a mentor or mentee relationship, and it hasn't worked out, and that's okay.
Got to put the work in. Like, you can't replace the hard work and the time in. And, my friends and I, like where we are in our lives, we've looked at the different paths that we've taken, and I've just always been the person who, I'm not the smartest person, but I will work and work and work and work and work. And that is where I have gotten to where I am. And I think that you just can't, there's no shortcut, there's no hack, there's no, you can't replace that.
I'm Ari Santiago, sitting in as guest host, which I'm really excited about, on a little hiatus from the Made in America podcast. But what's really exciting is the opportunity to talk to Nick Bokron of Omar Coffee.
What are some of the lessons that you've taken from the people that came before you that you think have been really helpful in your success as CEO?
You know, when you're out in business and you're in the field and you're in the game, you know, things happen. You can be very passionate about it, the highs and lows, right? And I feel that, you know, and this, you know, really with my grandfather, of you just sort of have to be steady. Now, you're going to have some successes, you're going to have some failures, good things are going to happen, bad things are going to happen. But if you're going to be, you know, the person at the wheel, you have to sort of remain steady, sort of through the good and through the bad, because sort of all the troops see that. And if you sort of lose your edge, then everyone else sort of feels off it, you know, feels a little off too.
We're very excited today to be joined by Elicia Pegues Spearman, the CEO of the Girl Scouts of Connecticut. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
You've had a incredible career. Tell us, you know, maybe some of the top piece of advice that you'd give to other aspiring leaders.
Putting things on the calendar to give yourself time to think strategically is important. I think spending time with your various constituents, it's my staff, it's my volunteers, it's the girls. I'm intentional about being out and about at different things so they can see and meet me. I think it's important that when we reward our girls who sell 1,000 packages or more, or our Gold Award winnings when we have those events, that the events are fun and meaningful. They get their certificates. A lot of the towns and the local officials come and they have these ceremonies for our girls who get the Gold Award. So it's very important. So I think just being actually kind and leading by example, clear in your communications about what your strategic goals are, your priorities, what you want to achieve, I think that holds any leader in good stead.
We hope that you enjoyed this very special episode of the CBIA BizCast. Thanks to all of the leaders who came on and shared their stories over the course of this year. We're looking forward to hearing many more stories in 2026. And thanks to you, the listeners, for always tuning in each week to the CBIA BizCast. As a reminder, you can listen, like, and subscribe to our podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Please leave us a review and let us know if you have ideas for a future podcast. And for more episodes, head on over to CBIA.com.